The escrows. Oh, got it. Okay, 20, Mike said 22% of the escrows that open don't close. Right now, he got that information from the title companies here in California. So that's not a good sign uh, in terms of, opening an escrows. I figured, well, let's just say we're in escrow when we list the property and just get everything done up front. So we can make sure that the escrow goes through right from the beginning. Because when a buyer is excited about the property, or maybe there's multiple offers and they happen to win the offer and they're really excited, and then they have their inspection period, and then they go buyer's remorse. They don't want it anymore. We paid too much because we were the highest price, and look at all these things. Whereas if you have that up front and the buyers are looking at that when they're most excited about the home, and they see all that, and they go, it's okay by me. They already figured that out. They already know it. It's shared with them. The physical inspection, maybe termite report, all the disclosures, and the preliminary title report, the NHD, the permits, all that stuff right up front. And then you tell them how to write the offer with your offer guidelines. If you ever tried to write an offer and you go, now, who the heck is a seller? I got to look this up. I got to look that up. You have everything prepared for them right on your documents. This is what you put here, is what you put there. This seller's expecting this or that, which they can go along with or not. But at least you can get the same expectations, and you can basically help them write their offer up so it'll be successful. So that's really helped me a lot through the years. I just figured, why start from scratch every time you list a home or you're getting ready to sell a home? These things can be done up front, and the goal is to make sure you're one of those escrows that closes, right?
And you have a really good closing ratio and a really good double ending ratio too, don't you?
Yeah, it seems pretty good.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. You do a lot of business every year, and you don't do by others. You make as much money a year selling 25, 30 houses, 35 houses as agents make doing 100.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Right. I was just very fortunate to choose this location. I was very fortunate. And
well,
yes,
really... but there are locations right around you in every direction that aren't that price range.
Yes.
And because you have that great smile and that you get the work done in advance, I think that's fantastic. Now, I don't know, we were cut off, so I don't know if you'd already answered this question, but do you get the sellers in most cases to pay for a pre-inspection?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So they pay for that, and whatever's wrong with the house, you put it in the MLS to disclose it, or if you have an offer, you give them the information. What is that? How do you do that?
Okay, so once you receive the report back, you can go over some of the things that then you can prioritize, or the seller can prioritize what they want to do to the home, and you can help them with that in terms of what's the best thing to just get taken care of up front. Just make a note in the report that was done, or not. That maybe it's too big of a thing and they don't want to deal with it. They lived with the house the way it is and they were happy with it. So it's really helpful for the sellers and buyers, so that right up front they know what it is that's a defect or a malfunction or needs attention, needs a new one, and the seller can choose whether they want to fix it or not. And they may not even be aware of some things like active leaks under the house. But if there are active leaks from a bathroom, that shows up all the time. The seller is glad to find out about it. So that they can fix that and not have their their plumbing leaking under the tub or under the sink. So it's a good thing for the seller. It's a good thing for the buyers. We put it in the MLS under documents, so it's not in the MLS where buyers see it right away, or even buyers agents see it right away. You let the buyers agents know that there are documents there and that they can share with their buyers if they're interested in writing an offer on the home. And the other thing is take the time to put together a seller's guideline for writing the offer. Just the way the offer is written. I'm sure you've run into that so many times where it's not even filled in right, or it's the wrong form, or they don't have the seller's name right, or all these things. You can just make it so much easier for a buyer's agent and a buyer.
I don't remember talking about this part. So describe this a little bit better. So when you say seller's guidelines, what does that look like? Be specific.
Oh yeah. So what it is you have the name, you provide the actual name, because there's so many sales that I have that are estate sales or trust sales, and they're just a totally different name from what they can look up in the property profile. And it's a challenge. It's like a treasure hunt for buyers agents to figure out like who is even the seller of this property. So if you can provide that specifically and let them know how to write that up, it makes it easier for the buyers and the sellers, and less adjustments throughout the escrow and in the escrow. So you have that, and you have what you're looking for in terms of proof of funds, within the last 2 months, the proof of funds from a bank. And we need to have, by the way, because so many people take pictures on their computer of their account. It doesn't have a name on it. It doesn't have a date on it. It's like useless. So you just have to remind buyers agents that make sure you tell the buyer we need copies of their bank accounts that show the proof of funds with their name and a date within the last 2 months, and the name of the bank too, because they could have bank statements and there's no name of the bank. We go, that's interesting. They've got all this money, but we don't know where it is. Could be in Shanghai or someplace,
Well,
so
right, and then you can't get the money out of Shanghai, right?
Right.
Exactly. That's
So
interesting. So
simple things, but really make it so much easier to bring together a transaction for buyers and sellers. And you can even put in there what the seller would like in terms of, well, you have 17 days pre-printed in the contract for a physical inspection, but maybe the seller's in a little more of a hurry or wants to know sooner that they're not going to back out from that and make it shorter. Seller would like 10 days. And I mean, that's just a seller preference.
So where does that go? That goes in the extra documents, and that's a link?
Do you guys offer term?
That's in the document list. We have a whole list of different documents under that document list in the MLS, and that's called seller guidelines for writing an offer.
Okay, good. And then you do this with the termite report.
It depends on if the seller wants to get a termite report or not. Yeah.
So the seller may not want to provide a termite report in clearance. But if the seller doesn't want to do that, would the seller still offer, here's my termite report, take it as is?
Oh, absolutely.
That
can be written up in the seller guidelines.
Got it. So what you're saying is that pretty much everything that could be a question in the transaction, you bring up front. And it's probably one of the reasons why you get a lot of your transactions double-ended, because you already have the answers to the whatever the questions are for the buyer that's working with you, correct?
Correct. Yeah, people want to know what's going to happen next, or what is it that I have to do, and it's already in there up front, and so they can see all the reports, all the disclosures, and see it at a time when their enthusiasm is the highest for the house, not a week or two later when that buyer's remorse sets in.
So the way that you and I talked about this, where it plays when the seller says, "How are you going to get me more money?"
Yeah.
You're going to get them more money by having the house preset for any buyer, and you're going to base the price on that. And that way, the seller is going to get the highest and best price on this. If that makes sense. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly. Have you ever been in a situation where a buyer has a
Uh-oh.
physical inspection and suddenly you find out something terrible about the foundation that the seller had no clue? And
Right.
it's devastating. So if the sellers can see what it is right from the start, then everybody has similar expectations. And if you prepare people in advance for this rocky road called an escrow, you can make it smoother. And
Okay.
yeah, it makes it much smoother.
Did you talk about your energy with the group before I got cut off?
Let's see. Yeah, you want to keep your energy up and your mindset up. And you always, of course, with a seller, you want to always be positive, even if there's things that aren't right with the home. There's things that aren't right with every home, even brand new homes. So it's just kind of like, well, that's just the way it is. But you still remain enthusiastic and positive towards the house. And because obviously sellers are sensitive to that, it's their home and they feel like a part of it. So you want to remain enthusiastic. And I got to read a lot of books and keep my mind positive all the
Right.
time. And yeah, I do that through my books that I read and my all of my posters, my dream boards, that I put together every year. Uh, this year's already halfway done. I mean, coming up.
Right.
And just keep that mindset and focus strong. So you just really want to help them make it the best experience possible. And I tell Holly, my assistant, she's terrific. I told her my goal is that we started escrow. We have a transaction that the seller or the buyer never calls us ever, because we've already told the buyer or the seller what's going to happen next. They already know. And so that's always my dream. That's what I'm always working towards, how to be, the very best for that seller or buyer. So they know things are moving along. They know
You
what to
told me a
expect.
story the other day that you have such relationships with these people and talk with them so often, etc., that you're actually named in wills to be the realtor, right?
Yeah, I know. I went to one of just people that I know, and he called me up, said, "Come on over. I want you to meet my brother-in-law." Oh, okay, I'd be happy to meet him. Where's he live? Oh, Minnesota somewhere. Well, okay. So he told me, unfortunately, he was ill. He expected to pass in about 6 months, and he wanted to just have me meet his brother-in-law, who would be the trustee, his brother that would be the trustee. And he even set the price that he wanted before he left this earth. And the funny thing about it is that we got that price. It was like it was from heaven.
Oh, that's great. But that's the relationship that you have with all of your clients, correct?
Well, that's what I
You
like to
work
strive
toward.
for. And
Right.
that's where I have to keep working on my versatility, because not everyone is like me, some don't act like me or talk like me. And I just always have to keep, trying to communicate as best I can in the way that they can receive my communication. And some are better at text or email, or just
How do you determine that? Do you actually ask it in the beginning, or do you just try different things, or how's that work for you?
well, I observe them and see how they get back to me, either by text, or they're calling me, or they're emailing me. So that's the surefire way of knowing when you observe them. They're either calling you or they're texting you, but eventually, remember, I want to get to that point where they don't do anything. They're
You
receiving the information from me. This is what's happening next, and here it is.
Right. And that's what you're looking to try to accomplish. You don't want them calling you or your assistant. You want to be calling them or your assistant calling them, correct?
Right. Right.
Okay. And
One of
that,
my
go
one of
ahead.
my favorite things is this is right on my board here. I wanted you to know that this is what's going to happen next. Mhm.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love that. That's great. So let's see. Agnes asked, do you pull the permits or do the clients pull the permits, or how's that work for you?
Well, we were always taught that after a while, at first, many years ago, we used to pull permits, but then there happened to be lawsuits and so on all along these years, to the point where we're not to pull any permits. So what I did was I found a company that pulls permits. It's an NHD company, and part of their service is to pull permits, and they put the permits at the end of the NHD report, which I think is great, because it's not coming from me. It's just coming from another company that researches government documents. So it's provided again in that list, the documents list.
Got it.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
you a lot of times what's the name of the company that actually does the work and then will bill you in escrow? Forgot the name.
Curbio.
Curbio, right? I know that you were having on and off issues. Are they on your referral list anymore or not?
No.
They are not. Okay, sorry I brought their name up. Have you replaced them?
um, I haven't, no, I haven't yet. If work needs to get done that costs a lot, I'll
Call
I'll
Neil.
just think, yeah, I'll call you and see if you can loan them the money.
So what we're referring to there is, in certain situations, I'll loan money to sellers to get their house fixed up, but it's not house rebuilding money. It's carpets, drapes, and paint money. All right. And I don't charge a huge amount for it, but it's strictly a service for our own agents. We have to use the escrow company, et cetera, et cetera. Don't bring me your aunt and uncle from Minnesota. Uh,
Yeah.
but
Or
anyway,
sometimes you can pay for some of those things in advance, and then you can get reimbursed through escrow
right.
if the seller doesn't have it. And another thing is, you can talk to your vendors, the ones that have been in business for a while and they're established, to see if they can offer their work for free, but get paid through escrow with 10% added on. And a lot of times sellers are glad that they, for example, if you have to paint the house or that type of thing. And of course, termite companies do that for us all the time without even a charge of 10%. They get paid through escrow. So I figure, well, how about some of the other vendors, if they're able to get paid through escrow? And you can talk to them about if they're in a position that possibly they can do the work with maybe, for their carrying costs of the money, get paid through escrow with a little more than the actual cost that
Right.
both the seller and the vendor are aware of. That
Big
works
business.
out.
Do you mind sharing the name of the NHD company that pulls the permits for you?
It's called Solutions for Property. They're out of, I think, Burbank.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. Okay, so what else do you tend to do for your clients that is a unique selling proposition? Because you're competing with some very, very good real estate agents in your market that have been around as long or longer than you have.
Mhm.
And the competition for those properties is very fierce.
Mhm.
And you get a good number of them. So congratulations.
Thanks.
So is there anything different that you do or don't do?
I'd say what helps with that is having the reputation and having enough people that you've talked through with throughout the years that I'm getting listings from people that referred me to them that I don't even know.
Right.
Because they're a neighbor, they live a couple doors down. So if you can really focus on developing the people that and doing a good job for them, so whoever talks about you or wants to know who is a good agent, and they're happy to do that. Now you might even, if you do something for them, well, one thing you can do is just offer to help people if they need an appraiser for a trust sale, or if you can do the market analysis to update a trust for date of death evaluation. Just so many different things that you can do to help people when it comes to their house or their ownership of the home. Offer to do that, because it's easy for us. Everything has its challenges, but we do it so much that it's something that we can offer to people. And when you do that often enough with enough people, you get recommended over another person that they're interviewing. And if you can communicate with the person that you're trying to get the listing with as much as you can in terms of finding out what their needs are and then provide it up front without even having a listing, it's helpful because they see how forward thinking, forward moving, enthusiastic that you are, and you've listened to them, and you know what they need, you know what they want, and you can provide it for them.
And you do that. It starts with your website and your social media. You spend really good money on that, and you've upgraded those things quite a bit. The car you drive, the clothes that you wear, your pre-listing package, all of that is classy and it's great. You have a great relationship also with the either a selling agent or a buying agent. In fact, we were talking about this the other day that occasionally your deal will get accepted over somebody else's that might have a slightly better sales price because they know if Meg's bringing an offer, it's got covered with a box and it's got a bow and it's ready to close, right?
Yes. Yes, the relationship that you have with the other agents is really critical. So all those interactions that you have with agents whether they're asking you about your listings or you're asking them about their listings or you're starting a transaction together, it's really important to treat people really well and with respect. And if they need some help, give it to them. Because a lot of people are newer in the business and they just don't know. There's so much to know. And I have what's called common knowledge, but then some uncommon knowledge too that can help. Even I've helped newer agents with understanding their buyers better. Well, did you ask them this? Did you ask them this or that? And kind of coach them on how to get the buyer to come to a point where they're going to write the offer.
Right.
Or not. I'd rather just not have them around, if it's not going to come together, or help them to actually, this is what you can ask them. And if they say yes, 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 it'll be obvious to them and you to keep moving forward, write the offer, we'll get it accepted.
And more importantly, today, get it closed, because you don't want a bunch of offers from other people that don't close. Nothing frustrates a seller more than getting some offers that don't close. Would you agree with that, Meg?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
then for the veteran agents that I know, we have a relationship where, if it, like you said, if it's multiple offer situation and they know that my buyers have been through all these steps to get to this point, whereas somebody else may not have, they may not have the, let's say the mother's gift letter put together, written, all, it's solid, because we've had mothers change their minds, not gift
Well,
a down payment, so
two things.
it's that level of trust.
Right. Well, two things. Even if getting the gift letter, the lender will say, well, we need a gift letter from your folks or whatever. And yeah, no problem. But you need to have that gift letter in your hand and it approved by the lender as to whether or not that the words that are in there are going to work. Correct?
Right. Correct.
Okay. Well, that could take 3 weeks if the seller's mom is back east and they've just went away on a cruise.
Yeah.
So get it in advance. That's your whole. I think one of your unique selling propositions is that you get the work done up front.
Yeah.
And you have the package done. So there's a question. Oh, somebody asked, so what kind of car does she drive? The Tesla, right?
Tesla Model Y.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Elon Musk to get it to a fully driving, car, because it'll just keep downloading through
Well,
the
he's got those trucks that you can shoot at.
Oh
You saw that commercial, right?
yeah.
And then the other thing is, you were talking about getting floor plans. Where do you get yours from?
Just a floor plan person. My assistant knows one that she was, happy with, so we just go with them. Or they're I think pretty plentiful. You can get them fairly
Okay.
easy.
Cool. All right. And then, what do you include in your pre-listing package? Anything different than what Mike recommends or the company recommends? You do have anything in there that's unique or Meg proprietary?
No, it's just a letter to the seller along with a pre-pack about that, that says some of the things, sales that I've had. But most importantly, in the letter, it addresses the comparative market analysis and the seller's estimated net proceeds. Put a lot of emphasis on that, what they're going to get from the sale. And people really appreciate that, because there's so many costs from a sale. And if they just see the sale price, they really don't know what they're going to get. And I said, the bottom line is you want to know what you're going to be able to wire into your bank at the close. So we really want to have that.
Yeah, but do you really want to put down there that you're getting, $120,000 worth of commission on some of your sales? Doesn't that push the seller away?
No, again, it's better they know up front. Then at the end they'll go, what? No, you want to be totally transparent about that. This is what it costs. Usually what I do, because we are still in a situation where seller is paying for both the seller agent and the buyer's agent, I split that in half. Typically that's how I do it. So that rather than see the whole, amount of the
You see,
commission.
some goes to the buyer and some goes to
Yeah.
you.
And that's the truth.
Right.
So better to
Right.
tell them now.
Yeah,
This
might
is
as well
how it
split it up.
works.
Absolutely.
And I think that also helps with those, I'm not really clear on what those lawsuits are, but if you explain to a seller right up front, this is how this thing is all broken down, and you've already gone through the agency twice now with them, because when you list the property, you do that, then it should be really clear to them what they're paying and they're accepting it.
Got it.
Mhm.
Golden rule, are you saying do unto others as you'd have them do unto you, Amanda? Got it.
Golden rule. Exactly. Mhm.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. Let's see where did to
I
get
have a
on
question,
track.
Neil, if you're okay with it.
Sure.
So, Meg, in the time that I've known you, obviously doing as many transactions as you do, there are frustrating times.
Mhm.
You never show it, in person. I'm sure on the side you have moments where you're very annoyed.
Oh, my hair out.
Yeah. So how do you do that? How do you keep always such a positive attitude, such a smile on your face, such a it's all going to be okay attitude in a business where there are a lot of times where it might be frustrating or dealing with difficult clients? How do you keep that all together?
No, that's really true. There are times where people are irrational and they don't make sense, and it's just something that they're dealing with. It's not necessarily about you. But if it is about you, you can do something about it. But if it's not about you, uh, I've had enough psychology in my background. I actually got a degree in rehabilitation education, psychology, and so on to help understand people. But when it really comes down to it, and you can't figure it out, and it's pretty frustrating, I'll just go, I'll start, frankly, you're gonna laugh, but I'll just start praying for them. I'll just say, please bless these people, because I know I personally can't help them. I try, or give me guidance on how, like, I'm not sure how yet. I haven't seen it, what I'm supposed to say or do, but I just go beyond myself, and I actually pray for them, for blessings for them, whatever it is, to help them.
I didn't know that, Meg. Can I get on your list?
Yeah, yeah, it works great. I got to tell you.
Geez, I had no idea. I want to be on your
Yeah,
list
I got a
daily
straight
would be
line
good.
connection.
Good job. I wanted to ask you in piggybacking on that with Robert. I mean, how does that? Because I too, even in some really crazy, crazy stuff, have not seen you crazy at all. I don't know how else to put it. So what books are you reading, and are you drinking anything that I'm not?
Yeah, well, you got to keep your energy up so that you can stay positive.
Yeah.
I picked up this book, and this one I worked on for a year. Because it
Ogmandino.
has, yeah, Ogmandino, The Greatest Secret in the World, because it has 10 scrolls. And I started on this last November, and I'm on my last week now. It has 10 different scrolls that you focus on for 4 to 5 weeks each day, Monday through Friday. And I'm getting to the end, and there's more. But this was really a good one to help with how you see the world, and how you can get past all those things that go haywire.
That's
There's
great.
certain things you can't control. So
For sure.
Mike is so good at that. He just gets over it and moves on. If you really can't do anything about it, let's do something that you can do something about.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. Questions for Meg. This has been great, Meg.
Oh, thank
We have to
you.
do this again, Meg. Questions for Meg. Who wants to go first? Go
Miriam.
ahead, Miriam.
Yeah, I would like to know how much is your listing side commission, like the average that you get.
So the average is 30,000.
Okay, and percentage?
What's percentage?
Oh, 2.5.
Okay, thank you.
Got it. I'm shocked that you know those numbers.
They're in your numbers analyzer.
Oh, okay, good.
Mm.
Good stuff. Other questions for Meg, please? Hands up or just yell out.
I had a
Anybody
question.
else? Oh, go ahead. Somebody was out there. Was that you, Justin?
I did, but somebody was
Ed-
first.
Eddie, go ahead.
Go ahead, Justin. You can go first.
Well,
Yeah, Meg, I was just going to ask, what are your daily goals when you wake up every single day? What do you focus on and what do you try to accomplish now?
Every day I wake up, I'm just so happy to be alive. I mean, I really mean it. I mean, when you think about the option, it
Love it.
is really great. I'm pinching myself. Oh my God, this is so great. And then, well, I have a phone call at 10 after 5 every morning, Monday through Friday. I've had
AM.
for in the morning for 25 years, 23 years maybe. So and this came out of a mastermind group from the Superstar Retreat 23 to 25 years ago, where we decided to have affirmation partners. And so every morning I usually wake up to that call. A gentleman from Ventura calls me, and so I've known him a very long time. And he'll tell me his affirmations enthusiastically, and then I basically read mine from my dream board. And it really, when you do that every single morning with enthusiasm to another person, and then from there we go into 3 different scripts, but only one a day, and that's the expired script, the FSBO script, and the pre-qualification script twice. We say it together, quickly. But the main thing, is just the first thing you do is you get a phone call about how wonderful. I mean, you have positive energy, you got faith that can move mountains, you eat healthy, you got this, you dream big, your superstar mindset, you believe it, you conceive it, therefore you will achieve it. You could do this, you're always learning, you have client loyalty, you're very successful among your clients, and you're going places. You're just, like all these different things, whether it's personal or business, you just read it out loud with enthusiasm. You'd probably be pretty up yourself if you did that for 23 years.
Thank you.
What's your biggest dream in your dream board?
So the biggest dream in my dream board is, of course, one of the things is financial freedom, which is like I'm right on the brink of that. But I want that because I want to be able to, to live and give as much as I am called to do, or what I feel like I can do to help people in situations. And so that's a definite thing, financial freedom. But when you have that, your life is easier when you really don't have financial issues. Life is harder when you do. I found that out from my beginnings. So I just keep working on that so that the rest of my life, can be fulfilled. When you have the funds to do whatever you feel you need to be doing right now, whether it's going on a trip or seeing a family member or helping out somebody, you can do it.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Question.
Let's see, Eddie, you had
Yeah.
your hand up?
I had a question about the NHD, the solutions for property, about the permits. Is that for LA County only, or do you know if they do different counties?
That's a really good question. So that's definitely LA County because they're located in Burbank. And so it might be a good idea to find an NHD company that's good, or find several of them and see if they'll do that. Let them know there's another company that does it. They charge the seller a little more. I think it's $165 instead of what's the normal 100 and a quarter. But I think it's worth it. And I think a seller will think it's worth it too, if they don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Find
Okay.
somebody who'll do that, and then they'll get all the Century 21 Masters business. That's a really nice thing to have.
Yes, thank you for that.
For
You're
sure.
welcome.
Good question, Eddie. Justin, did you ask your question? Okay, Kamal, did you have a question?
I had two for her. Number one is, where does your business come from? And the second question is, if you were a new agent or someone new in the business, what would be the three things you'd tell them to do to immediately get put their business into action?
Thank you for that. My business comes mostly from past clients and centers of influence.
That's now.
Yeah, now. And the thing that you really need to do is to become an expert in your field is to know what you're selling. And that means you got to go out there and look at every property that's for sale and find out about it. So now whenever a property comes on the market where I am, I'll go, well, let's see, that sold like 10 years ago and 15, 20 years ago. So let's see what improvements they've made. I know the floor plan already. I know where, specifically where it is. And so, but along the years, I would go, and still do. Oh, there's one that just came on the market. I haven't seen that in a while. I want to go over and take a look at it, see what they did. And know your market, because if you know that property, all the properties that they're interested in, or can compare it to the one that you're going to sell, you're the expert. You're the expert, because who else has seen all those properties? Who else knows the floor plans? Who else knows where the sun shines on it, or where the trees are blocking it, or the fact that it still has a non-reinforced foundation because it's sitting on stones, from 1909. It's you can learn all this stuff, and to me, I find it fascinating. I want to learn more about it. So I'm trying to find local history books too about the homes that were built here. So
Smart, very, very smart. Good
I
stuff.
have one more question.
Go ahead, Kamal. And then
You say
Karen.
you double end. You say you double end a lot of your properties. How do you do that?
So it's interesting, especially during the pandemic, buyers would want to work with a listing agent. Have you ever run into that? You have buyers that come to you because you're the listing agent. So we get a lot of that, but it also, how do I do that? For example, I'll list a home and I'll let people know about it, and they'll want to buy it.
When you say you let people know about it, you have
like,
a list of buyers that have indicated in the past they
Yeah.
may or may not want a piece of property, and you just keep that list and give them a call, right?
give them a call, and they may not even be on the list. Like, they may be a neighbor, like you were talking about door knocking the neighbor. That's
Right.
really important, because I knew the neighbor. She's a friend of mine, and I said, I just listed your neighbor's home. Really? I've always wanted that house. Well, I want to buy it. And of course, I didn't know that. I never knew she always wanted that house, but she did. And she just bought it for all cash before we could put it on the market. So it's pretty interesting. You,
Isn't that great?
yeah, you really, gotta let the local neighbors know, because or they'll just know somebody that is interested besides your list. And then you go ahead and help them buy it. Yeah, you
That's
can
great.
sell a lot of homes even before they come on the market if you get the right buyer.
Got it. Fantastic. Hey, Frank was asking, how long's your 5 a.m. call? It's not that long, is it?
Yeah, 3 hours. No. No, it's short. It's like 5, at the most 10 minutes if we want to talk about something. It's
All right.
short.
Good. Sounds good. Go ahead, Kathy. Karen, sorry.
Oh, thank you, Meg, for all this generous information. We're really learning a lot. First of all, I have two questions. One, can you please go back to that 5 a.m. thing, like play by play, like when you answer hello, hi, you're already pumped up, like coming from asleep.
Right. Well, see, I'm the lucky one because he always calls me. I don't know how I lucked out about that one, but he just said, well, I'll give you a call. And so, oh, I know what it was, because I think I would have woken up his kids or somebody if I called him. So he calls me, and then right away he starts into his affirmations. And I know pretty much how long his affirmations are going to last, because they're fairly similar each day. So I know I have X amount of time to get out of the bed, walk over into my office, turn on the lights, pull out my poster boards, and be ready to start. So
That's amazing.
yeah,
And then the
that's
second thing, if somebody wants to, like, say, list or buy somewhere, like say in Florence or like San Pedro, what would you do? Did you actually really just decide to say, you know what, I'm just gonna do South Pasadena and just the surrounding areas? Or what did you do for your, like, going forward in your career in the beginning, in the early on?
yeah, in the beginning, I think the farthest I went was Griffith Park, that area, in Griffith Park. I did list a house over there, but otherwise, because of my great connections with you and the rest of the Mike Ferry organization, I let them know, look, I network with the top real estate agents in the country. I sold a co-op in Brooklyn, New York. I actually couldn't find a Mike Perry agent there. I had to actually research who was the best agent and found them because they were selling in that building. But yes, I would let them know I know a great agent in, wherever you are, Pacific Palisades or wherever
Well,
it is, Huntington
pick-
Beach.
You
And
pick up a
I'm gonna
good
connect you.
amount of referral business that way. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you.
No, that's true.
Yeah,
I always
you
have.
pick up a good amount of referral business, absolutely. But I think what Karen was asking specifically, I mean, Griffith Park is about as far as you would physically go take a listing.
Yeah.
Would that be now still? You might not, we talked
Yeah.
about this,
Probably
Montrose.
not. Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably not now, but in the beginning I did
yeah.
until, yeah.
To get bigger, Karen, to get bigger, meaning more volume, you have to get smaller. That every top agent, I mean top agent, that's their claim to fame, is they really know their market better than anybody else. Meg knows it, Melinda knows it, the Kofor team knows it. You can't beat them. Abigail knows her area, Frank knows his area. I mean, that's the deal.
Mhm. Yeah, and these cities are pretty small, right around like South Pasadena. There's also San Marino, Pasadena, Altadena, Alhambra, San Gabriel, Arcadia, Sierra Madre, Montrose, Glendale. So there's Eagle Rock, Highland Park. So there really is a bunch of little cities all around where I live. And so I try to get as close as possible. I like to walk to my listings. I mean, that's what I've been doing a lot this past year. I like to walk to them, and it should be on my dog walking route.
We all have goals. We all have goals. All right, unmute yourselves. Unmute yourselves. Let's give her a big hand. All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bravo.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Great
That's the
Thank you,
best
Meg.
mastermind.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Great.
Good job. Really
That
like
was
that.
Really, really, really good, Meg. Really good. I'm really good. So
Oh,
right
thank you.
now, what we do is we're going to go around the room and ask what people learned from you. You're welcome to hang with us and listen, or if you've got a hard stop and you've got to go on a listing appointment, I certainly would understand that. But Meg, I really, really appreciate this. This is exactly what the doctor ordered. So thank you, thank
That's
you. What
good.
did we learn today from Meg? Who wants to go first? Jump in.
I will.
learned
Go ahead, Marco.
Thank you very much for sharing your expertise, Meg. I found you delightful in your presentation and getting everything done before the problem so that you can go ahead and also have the solution for them. It's not problems if you have the solution. So I think that is really key. And thank you.
Oh,
Good
you're welcome.
job.
You.
Thanks, Marco. Appreciate it. Go ahead, Karen.
Yeah, that one helped me a lot to prepare for anything, like that might come up in the escrows or anything like that. Do not cut corners is what I actually learned from her. And yeah, thank you.
You're
Appreciate
welcome, Karen. Thank you. Appreciate it. What else did we learn today? Abigail, she's talking to somebody else.
The seller's guideline. I just love that idea.
Isn't that
just
great?
yeah, that's amazing. And just doing everything up front.
Yep. Got to do it. Good job. Excellent. Okay. Who else has
I also thought that having like like emphasizing on the commission breakdown, I mean, the whole expenses. I think that's important in how you broke it up into the listing and the sales. So it doesn't, well, if somebody else sells at this, they gotta, have their part. So that really is because, then that way they can start mulling over it and, saying, okay, well, that's what it takes, to get the best, you
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
and let's do it.
I actually think if we were being straight with this, which is what we've been teaching for more than 4 years now, the script that is, I charge 2.78% for all of this stuff that I do. All you have to do, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, is decide how much you want to pay the buyer's agent and do that in every case.
Ooh,
You will
wow.
never. Marco, come to role play. You will be amazed what we do there.
Yes, yes.
Please do. I'll send you a
Thank
link.
you.
Okay. So, sorry, I digress. Okay. What else did we learn today? What
I have
else
a
did we
question
learn?
then. I have a question for Mike. Thank you, Mike, for sharing all this great information. And do you have that routine in the morning? That you do with your affirmations. Do you have anything particular at night, after work, or before you go to bed?
That's a good question. I'm pretty tired by then. I gotta go. But I have a routine with my husband is that, of course, first time I see him in the morning, we always kiss and say, I love you.
Careful.
It's a good thing. And then at night, always before we drop off to sleep, we always kiss and say, good night, I love you. So there's always a point, before you go to sleep, that that you love somebody and somebody loves you.
That's great.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. Good stuff. All right. Anyone else have anything else they want to share that they learned?
me.
Go ahead.
I would like to upgrade my car to a Tesla Model Y.
Okay, good. Write it down and
Mhm.
let's figure out how to get there.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right. Excellent. What else do we have?
me.
Well, I was going to say collecting the gift letter. I've never collected the gift letter, and I'm just trusting the other party. I'm trusting that the lender has it. Something as small as that,
Well, it could, and it has delayed a week or two or three in and a lot of transactions it's involved in because it's never quite right. And remember, the lender has to sell this loan to somebody else generally. So they need to make sure the underwriters think it's okay too. So, by the way, on that same thought, and I'm sure Meg does this already now, is when you have somebody with a power of attorney, get the power of attorney up front, give it to the title company you're going to use, and make sure they're okay with it.
Oh, absolutely. You
Right,
have to
Meg?
do that.
Yeah.
Really, really critical because there's a different power of attorney for the sale of properties. And I used to run into that all the time a number of years ago. So now it's you have to check that right away. Oh, you have a power of attorney? Perfect. Let's get that checked out. You know,
Right.
we have to send that to the title company.
Yeah,
And make it the title company you're going to use on that transaction.
Absolutely. They're part of the pre-escrow opening. Remember, when you list a property, you're opening a pre-escrow.
That's right.
Neil, I just
I-
have that experience with the power. I got a listing with the power of attorney, and that's exactly what I did. I sent it over to escrow and the title company, and they found out something that nobody catch it before. Right away, there was something and one of the title companies says, no, that's not going to be acceptable. They have to fix it.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Right.
Good.
It's better to know that on the first day of the conversation than it is the day of closing.
Definitely.
Yes.
And by the way, the seller was very grateful. I said, oh, I'm so glad that you jumping ahead. You know, we don't want to go into the middle of the deal and find out that there's an issue with that.
Right.
Yes.
That's called going the extra mile. And that's what Mike Ferry was teaching over Monday and Tuesday, was try to find a place where you can go the extra mile. This is the simplest extra mile one can do in a transaction. So I think that's why, Meg, a lot of agents are resonating with this. And that's actually what helps make you make this a unique selling proposition for you. It's very good. Okay, real quick.
I
Anyone
have
else?
a closing thought.
Sorry?
I have a closing comment. I've been licensed in '76, so I'm aging myself, but I've managed to get the gift letter, and then I thought, okay, well, let's do it. Let's go even a little bit better. Let's get the kids the money so that they have it, so we don't have to wait. You know, and so and then I've had a situation where the kids actually spent the money on doing something else, and so now it's like, yeah, they get the money, but you have two signatures on a separate account so that they can't pull the money out because Murphy's Law, anything can happen. And I don't know why, but it's like just experience.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That would be horrible, and I would kill my children.
Yeah.
Going back to that power of attorney real quick, a lot of times you're going to run into people who hold title in a revocable trust. So right away, you want to get a copy of that trust and forward it immediately to the title company. You got to make sure that thing is correct for that person to be able to sell the property, that they are authorized to do that.
Let me ask you this, Mike. I don't know you have run through this because right now they send this power of attorney. I send it to two different title companies. One's a little bit more flexible than the other one. And this one, the lady who has dementia now signed the power of attorney a year and a half back.
Oh,
So now they asking, okay, they cannot do a new one because she's not there. And now that we're trying to see what will be the next step, if they need to get a couple doctors' letters or something like that. Do you have anything like that before?
oh yeah.
There was an issue?
Oh yeah, yeah. You have to deal with that right up front, and ultimately, the worst case situation is somebody has to become a conservator. To her, it's too late, and that has to go through court. I'm a conservator for my own autistic son, so I know what that's like. Yeah.
All right, good job, everyone. Let's give her a big hand. Woo! All right.
Great job, Meg. Great job.
Great job.
Thank you.
Great,
Good
great,
job.
great job. Sorry for
Thanks so
the,
much.
technical difficulties in the beginning, but I think we ended up on a strong note. I'm excited about it. So it's all good. We'll have this in a recorded format here in the next few days. And again, Meg, thank you for being the person that you are.
Oh,
You
thank you.
really-
Thanks for having me.
Nah,
Appreciate
you're terrific. You're the best.
You
And
guys
by
are-
the way, anything in that area, she's open to referrals. And it doesn't have to be a $2.5 million deal. She works on
Yeah.
things slightly smaller.
Absolutely.
I was gonna ask her to pray for all of us too.
Yeah,
Yes.
you got it.
Exactly. Hey, Marco,
Yes.
would you
gotta
do
go.
me a favor? Would
Yes.
you put your contact information in the chat box so I can
Yes.
send that over to you?
Yes, I will right now.
All right, buddy. All right,
Okay.
everybody. Thank you much.
Mhm.
And
Bye-bye.
Robert said that we have our 2:00 is open, our 2:30 is open. So Mark, if you want to take 1:30, will you do that? Are you here? Well, if he's not here, we'll get him. And then Gonzalo, you're here at 3.
Sure, Neil. And
All right. Okay, Mark, take it away, baby.
and I'm camera shy on Facebook Live. Can I not be on?